Good morning, children. And as we were doing Unit 3, that is Science, and we started with Section A, in which we studied about the machines, right? And the title of the poem was The Secret of the Machines. The poem talks about machines, the process of making of machines, and the work that they do, the dangers encountered, and finally, machines surrender and call themselves as the child of human beings, right? Now we are switching to our section B. It is a fiction, and the name of the chapter is The Stolen Bacillus. Bacillus is the germ, right? Have you heard about biological war? Can bacteria be a weapon of war? Now, see children, it is the current topic right now. We all are facing this situation. The entire world is a victim of one of the viruses, right? This is also a situation of biological war. We can't call it war because it is a very controversial topic. But yes, whatever is happening, this COVID-19 situation has been occurred only due to a virus, right? It has destroyed nations, it has destroyed life of people. Entire world is at stake, and I think it is almost 7 to 8 months the world is suffering badly. Some of the countries, for some countries, it is almost a year. So children, what it is? How does it work? And why do people do it? There might be something in their mindset, right? See, fighting with weapons or fighting without weapons, right? So here we are going to start with the chapter in which we are going to study how the bacillus, the stolen bacillus. What is bacillus actually? It is a sample of germs which is kept in the laboratory, right? So now you can very well understand with the heading of the chapter what might have happened in this story. Means somebody might have stolen that sample, right? So let's just look at this board, or you can look into your book also. This again, said the bacteriologist, slipping a glass slide under the microscope, is a preparation of the celebrated bacillus of cholera, the cholera germ. Now, before I explain anything else, what is cholera? Cholera is a disease caused when unhealthy or unhygienic water or food is taken. Okay? So, there is a bacteriologist. Who is a bacteriologist? It is a scientist who studies about bacteria, right? So, slipping a glass slide. Now, what is a glass slide? And what is a microscope? See children, microscope is a machine, you can say, an instrument, not a machine, we can say an instrument through which we can see the minutest details of these cells, bacteria, their functions. And for that, to look into that, we need to place a glass slide, means a sample of it, of that. Suppose you want to study about cell, then you'll have to take a sample of cell on that slide, and you have to slip that slide in under the microscope. I'll just show you. So microscopes are of two types. Microscopes are of two types. I'll just show you the compound ones and the electron microscopes. Just look at this pic, children. This is the pic of compound microscope. You can very well see a slide, a glass slide. You might have gone for your blood test and all. When we go to the labs, they take a sample of our blood, just a drop of it, and they place on that slide, right? And then they add some chemical and they keep it, right now. So that slide with that sample is kept here. The person has to look from here, right? The person, whoever wants to look into it, has to look into. यहाँ से आप देखोगे, and here is the slide. So this is which microscope? The compound microscope. Now what does compound microscope do? Compound microscope is the microscope generally kept in the school laboratories. It helps you to know what the virus is, or whether it is alive or it is dead. But to have a detailed study of the topic, we need another higher level microscope, which is known as electron microscope. What it is known as? Electron microscope. That electron microscope will help you for a detailed study. It will show the cell, the neutrons, protons, everything, the nucleus, everything it will show you, and it will show each and every detail. So in the laboratories where we get a test done, or where these scientists they work, they don't use this one. They use the electron microscope. Okay. So in this chapter, the bacteriologist, he is studying about a bacteria of cholera, right? And the bacteria of the cholera is like a comma. What is the shape of the bacteria? A small comma. Just like a comma, the bacteria is shaped, right? Okay, so now just look at the board once again. We'll move to the text. This again said the bacteriologist slipping a glass slide under the microscope is a preparation of the celebrated bacillus of cholera. Celebrated bacillus, the cholera germ, right? The germ of cholera disease. Those germs are, you can see, stored in a test tube or a container in the laboratory for studies. It is a sample of cholera germ for further studies, and this study can be of any kind, like detecting, or you can say the preparing the vaccine. Vaccine के लिए भी हमें वो germ पता होगा, तभी हम उसकी vaccine बना पाएंगे. Or if you are preparing some medicine for that disease, you need that germ so that you can test your medicine. So in the labs we often have such samples of different bacteria of different diseases, right? And this biologist is just making, what he's doing, he is studying. Is he studying himself? No. Let us further read. वो खुद नहीं पढ़ रहा है, वो किसी और को माइक्रोस्कोप की हेल्प से दिखा रहा है. Okay, you see, this is the germ of cholera. The pale-faced man peered down the microscope. Now, who is looking into the microscope? The pale-faced man. He was evidently not used to that kind of thing. Means this pale-faced man, the way he was looking into the microscope, it seems that he is not in a habit of using such things, and held a limp white hand over his free eye. Now, how generally the microscope is kept like this on the table, and we have to look like this, right? And you can see through your one eye at a time. So what this man was doing, he covered his one eye and he was trying to look like this. And the way he was looking, usse lag raha tha ki he is not in a habit of using microscope, right? I see very little. Now the man says ki I see very little. Usko nahi dikha. Now see, just in the camera we have to set the focus. In the same way, in the microscope, we need to set the focus. We need to set the focus. There is a screw. With the help of it, we have to just thoda sa aise aage piche you have to turn, and then you can set the focus and you can see the thing clearly. So you will be looking like this down, and you will be setting the focus. And it is there. The rod is there. The lens is there, and your slide is like this, right? And you are looking like this, and you can do. And you might have seen in the movies and in news and all how microscope is used. So I see very little. He said, touch the screw, said the bacteriologist. Perhaps the microscope is out of focus for you. Eyes vary so much. So what the biologist say? He said, bacteriologist, that said that, see, you just need to adjust the screw for yourself, because my eyes and your eyes are different, and my eyesight, mera eyesight, aapke eyesight mein difference hota hai. So you just set the focus for you with this screw. Just turn it. Just the fraction of a turn this way or that. He said, just turn it little bit this way or that way. Ah, now I see, said the visitor. Ah, ab dikha. Not so very much to see after all. Little streaks and shreds of pink. Now what he is able to see? Little streaks and shreds. Streaks and shreds, he has said about कुछ ऐसी कतरन type उसे कुछ दिख रहा है. Like now, as I said, that the bacteria of cholera is in the shape of a comma, right? So he's saying I can see something in pink, and that pink comma was actually the bacteria of cholera. And yet, those little particles, those mere atomies, now he is calling those bacteria as mere atomies, a very minute particle, might multiply and devastate a city. Wonderful. Itni si cheez, such a small thing will multiply and will devastate, means it will destroy the whole city. That's wonderful. Now see, this wonderful itself shows the intention of the person. A normal human being, when he comes across such a thing, जब हमें आपको पता पड़ता है कि यार एक इतनी सी चीज से डिस्ट्रक्शन इतना हो सकता है, तो what will be our reaction? Wonderful, no? Little different, no? Oh my God, it's so bad, not good, something like that. But this man is saying, wonderful. Wow. Means his intentions are not in the benefit of the common people, right now? He stood up and releasing the glass slip from the microscope, held it in his hand towards the window, scarcely visible. Now what that man does, वो slide निकालता है वहां से, and he goes to the window and he says, scarcely visible, hardly seen. ऐसे तो with naked eye तो you can't see anything. He said, looking carefully at the preparation. He hesitated. Are these alive? Then he asked the bacteriologist, the bacteria that we have seen through the microscope are not visible in the slide. But are these alive? क्या ये जिंदा है? are they dangerous now when they are on the slide? अभी तो ये slide पे है. Are they dangerous now? Those have been stained and killed. What the bacteriologist said, that the bacteria which are on this slide, they have been stained and killed. Stained means putting a mark on it, है ना, कोई निशान लगाना. So he's saying कि we have killed these bacteria because we don't want that any live bacteria should be brought openly into the air. Right? Even when they are testing, it becomes very risky to keep the live bacteria to study. It is very risky, but many times they have to do, and they have to take lots and lots of precautions while doing it. Because every bacteria, not every I should say, some bacteria, they spread with the air also. Got it? So, those have been stained and killed. I wish for my own part, we could kill and stain every one of them in the universe. Now, bacteriologist says कि these are stained, but I wish, मेरी बहुत इच्छा है कि इस पूरे यूनिवर्स में जितने भी बैक्टीरियाज हैं, हम उन सब को पकड़ पकड़ के मार दें. Right now? So, the bacteriologist, the scientist, is a good-hearted person. Right now, he doesn't want to harm anybody, right? But the other man, the pale-faced man, pale means whitish, not a healthy look. He doesn't seem to have very good intentions. Why? Because जब उसने पहली बार बैक्टीरिया को देखा तो उसने क्या बोला? Wonderful. The reaction was कि इतनी सी चीज पूरे वर्ल्ड को डिस्ट्रॉय कर सकती है. Wonderful. That reaction itself tells us that what intentions the man has, right? I suppose, the pale man said with a slight smile, you scarcely care to have such things about you in the living, in the active state. So, the pale man asked the bacteriologist, कि you don't have to worry about such things, whether they are live or dead, right? So children, till now, we have studied that these two people, one is the bacteriologist and the other one is another person, seems to be the visitor of this man, and they are talking and discussing about the bacteria of cholera, and they studied it with the help of the microscope, right? And now the remaining part of the chapter will be done in the next class. Till then, I end up here. Thank you, children.